I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote. Okay. Your, let say, action and maybe inaction during your presidency and the last few years sort of, was a little disturbing to me. What happened during January 6th and the fact that, you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. And also people in your administration who don't support you. I'm curious how people so close to you and your administration no longer want to support you, so why would I want to support you?
The people that don't support a very small portion. That was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands. It could have been the largest group I've ever spoken before.
Well, his reaction was a whole meme. You saw the head flop, right? I'm reading into it, but I think I know exactly what that head flop meant. Joining me now, Democratic strategist Maria Cardona, editor of the National Review, Ramesh Ponnuru, former White House Deputy Press Secretary of the Trump administration, Sarah Matthews, who has endorsed Kamala Harris for president. Okay, first of all, Maria, what did this mean? The head flop about, I almost hurt my neck, but what did it mean to you?
That he didn't get it done. Clearly, he did not get it done. That was not a satisfactory answer. Not for that Latino gentleman. I don't think for any American who really understands the danger that Donald Trump still poses.
A day of love is
Yes.
an odd thing to have said.
It is a very odd thing to have said. His supporters will eat it up because they believe every single thing that comes out of his mouth. But in this very close election, Donald Trump should be past trying to get support from just his supporters. He needs women, he needs suburban women, he needs Republicans, he needs moderates, he needs Latinos, he needs more black voters. And denying what happened on January 6th when we all saw it with our own eyes, it happened, minute by minute as we were all appalled, staring at our television sets, not understanding what was going on and never thinking that something like that could happen in this country.
Yeah.
And he still denies that it happened, says that it was an event full of love. And I think that is going to cement for so many voters the fact that he is unqualified and wholly unfit to be elected again.
Sarah, that was the impetus for you even leaving the White House. You were there.
Yeah, I resigned on January 6th because I saw firsthand Donald Trump's unwillingness to call off the mob. And a real tipping point for me, I kept hoping that day that he would meet the moment time and time again throughout the day, hour by hour, hoping he would step up and do something. And he didn't. Why? Because he was enjoying what he was seeing. And then what did he finally do after the Capitol Police had regained control of the building? He sends out a video where he tells the rioters, I almost said protesters, they were rioters, let me be very clear about that. He says to them, we love you, you're very special. And he didn't differentiate between the peaceful protesters that we saw at the Ellipse that day and the rioters who defaced our Capitol, brutally attacked police officers. And then I think for him, to this day, to double down and say it was a day of love, that's what he thinks about January 6th. It was a celebratory day for him because he saw how he could inspire his people to do what he wants and enact his will and try to do everything he can to stay in power. And that's the type of leader he is. And that's why I will never support him again and why I have endorsed Harris.
Ramesh, you wanted to jump in.
Yeah, they were full of love for him. And that's all that matters from his perspective. I think what's interesting is what Marie was saying about how much Trump's campaign is devoted to mobilizing its base rather than persuading people to join it. But at the same time, if you look at the polls from now compared to 2020 or 2016, some people have, in reaction to the Biden administration or whatever they're feeling about the perceptions of the moment, they are coming around. It hasn't, I think, been Trump himself so much, but something has persuaded people to give him another shot. His numbers are better than they were in the previous two go-rounds.
CNN's Jeff Zeleny is on the trail following Kamala Harris today, following all of this for us in Milwaukee. Jeff, as I mentioned, the first stop to court college voters. What's going to happen today, and what's the impact/fallout from last night?
Hey, Kate, good morning. Vice President Harris will be waking up here in Milwaukee. Her blue state tour continues, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and now here in Wisconsin. But it is that interview from Fox News that is still hanging over the campaign trail today as she was trying to present herself as a candidate of change. That has been one central question underwriting this entire campaign. She had this to say about how she might be different from the Biden administration.
Let me be very clear. My presidency will not be a continuation of Joe Biden's presidency. And like every new president that comes into office, I will bring my life experiences, my professional experiences, and fresh and new ideas. I invite ideas, whether it be from the Republicans who are supporting me.
Of course, this has been a central question that's been dogging Vice President Harris. How much distance and space is she going to put between herself and President Biden? Of course, this comes on the heels of an answer about a week ago when she said she wouldn't change anything at all. So clearly adjusting her answer there. But that is a question that some voters have as she's trying to persuade some and mobilize others to support her candidacy. Just how different she might be from President Biden.
And persuade some and mobilize others was also maybe the goal of Donald Trump last night in speaking at a town hall with undecided Latino voters. What happened there?
Kate, it was so interesting. I mean, Donald Trump seldom is standing before an audience asking some pretty difficult questions. He softened his rhetoric in some degrees on immigration, but it was this exchange with a voter who said he was a Republican and he was looking for a reason to support Donald Trump, but was troubled by the actions of January 6th. He gave the former president a chance to sort of explain that, but this is what Trump said.
You had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions I spoke. And I used the term peacefully and patriotically. But they couldn't get me because of the fact that I said everything's got to be peaceful and patriotic.
Well, of course, there were images and, of course, our memories suggest that it was anything but that. And he did not win over at least that one voter. But standing before some other voters, taking questions on the economy, on immigration, it's unclear how much the former president did in terms of reaching out to Latino voters, which is what he was trying to do. But, Kate, with less than 3 weeks to go with early voting underway across the country, both of these candidates remained locked in an incredibly tight race.
Now we've got Trump's town hall where he revisited the topic of migrants eating pets because he was asked by one of the potential Latino American voters why he is still talking about trying to kick out Haitian migrants over this issue. I know you saw what I saw. There were a lot of faces being made at this point. Describe what happened there.
Yeah, that is so striking. Really, the faces at the town hall say it all. Let's show that part where you can see people reacting to Trump.
I was just saying what was reported. That's been reported. And eating other things, too, that they're not supposed to be. But this is, all I do is report. I was there. I'm going to be there. And we're going to take a look, and I'll give you a full report when I do. But that's been in the newspapers and reported pretty broadly.
When I heard this, my first thought was sympathy for Springfield, Ohio. Here we go again. They're back in the news in the worst way possible with a racist lie being spread about the town. And Sarah, I think we should acknowledge this is a racist dog whistle. Don't take it from me. The Washington Post last month interviewed historians and wrote the following: the promotion of such rumors, which thrust Springfield into the national spotlight, is, quote, rooted in a centuries-old racist trope of vilifying newcomers to the U.S. and highlights the country's present-day divides. Historians know what Trump is doing when he talks about migrants eating pets. And sadly, I think now we're going to see even more negative attention thrust on to Springfield, Ohio.
Yeah, and to be fair, the person who asked the question, a potential voter, said to him, you know, local authorities have debunked this lie over and over again. You know, why are you still using this?
Yeah.
It was interesting to see. It was a very sincere question. It wasn't combative at all. And then he got the answer that he got. Brian Stelter, it is always a joy to have you and a joy to read the newsletter, Reliable Sources. I appreciate it.